chakras. So we've done the chakras before, but I'm approaching it, we haven't done it for a couple of years as themes, and I'm approaching it from a slightly different angle this time. So previously when we've done it, we've just done the chakras generally, which are very interesting ideas. But I've realised in a rereading of various different books, Anna Dea Judith has been really good, and I'm also rereading this one, The Rainbow Body. And knowing that, seeing that the chakras can be used as a tool for manifesting. So when you start top down, it's drawing stuff from the ethereal realm into the reality, into the concrete realm. But when used from the bottom up, you can use them as a modality for healing. So we're going to do both approaches, and this to start with, we're going to do the healing, and then we're going to do the creating our ideal life through the chakras, if you like. So when we're using it as a healing modality, this is only a 5-week term up until the next half term. So we're going to do the bottom chakras, working our way up. And so we're starting at the root chakra today, hence I'm wearing red. Red is its colour. And for me, it seems a little bit like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if you know what I mean. So we start at the bottom, the base, which is all about safety and security. And I guess you could use it for healing in terms of immune system or in terms of healing an injury, but it's really relevant for healing internal wounds, trauma, worry, stress, anxiety, mental health problems, the whole gambit, just suffering generally, really. So we start by, and this is very much a yoga therapy approach as well, we start by calming Vata. Vata is anxiety, worry, overactivity, an airiness, like an ungroundedness, and we always start by grounding that, and the root chakra is excellent for that. So yes, its colour is red, and it's all about grounding, trust, stability. So it's a week to explore what it means to feel rooted in body, place and self. That's our theme for this week. So with that in mind, let's check in with ourselves, find our comfy seat, lengthen our spine, really ground into the earth. That's what it's all about today. So feel the earth beneath you, press the sitting bones down and reach up with the top of the head. And if we think about the chakras, physically they align roughly along the spine, maybe slightly in front of it. But if you think about that as a channel running up through the centre of the body, get them aligned. So you just press up slightly with the top of the head and down slightly with the tailbone, and you create a straight line, and alignment is important for helping the energy to move upwards through them. And then feel the parts of the body that are in contact with the floor. Maybe it's the feet or the legs, the sitting bones, or maybe you're on a chair or a cushion or something. They're in contact with the surface beneath you. So feel into your connection to Mother Earth beneath you. The root chakra, all about connection to Mother Earth, the grounding, the support. She is there to hold you. The root chakra, very connected to the mothering element. Tune into your energy as well. So how's your energy today? So we're noticing where we're at without trying to change it. So is it anxious, airy, flighty, excited, happy, whatever it is, just acknowledging that. And then tuning into the breath. Where do you feel it? We're not trying to change it, but you might notice when you begin to observe the breath that it naturally slows down often. So just following that flow for a couple of cycles. And then checking in with the mind. And like the energy, is the mind a bit flighty, a bit all over the place? Or maybe it's already quite grounded, but just noticing the quality of the thoughts or the emotions. And then we set an intention. So maybe you have a sankalpa or an intention you work with regularly, or maybe it's something new that's relevant for you today. Maybe it has a grounding element to it, or something about settling or coming home, or safety, security. Bringing those kind of vibes into the work that we do today. An example would be, I am grounded and held by the earth beneath me, but your words will be whatever they are. Silently stating them to yourself a few times now. And then letting them go. And then connecting yourself. So that last space where we connect to the world around us is very much about root chakra, isn't it? To feel the earth beneath you, the world around you. You are anchored, tethered, part of this glorious universe. Feel yourself there, and then from that space we begin our practice today. If eyes are closed, blink them open. And the breathing practice, we often start with this one at the start of term, but it's super relevant for the root chakra. So a breathing practice which is really helpful for grounding is just deep belly breathing. It has lots of different names or ways that you can approach it, and we often do it as a 3-part breath, but today we're going to connect it with the root chakra. So we're going to start with just a few shoulder circles, thinking about waking up the muscles and joints of respiration. Sitting up tall and straight, a gentle turn to one side. A pause there while we think about releasing tension between the ribs and around the diaphragm, maybe a big breath. And gently twisting round the other way, lengthen the spine and breathe into the twist. Back to centre, chin to chest, round the back. I've had some long drives over the last few days, and just these simple stretches feel like medicine sometimes, don't they? So now arch the back, lift the chin a little bit, draw the shoulder blades back and down. Do one more of those each way. Open the back of the body, open the front of the body. Come back to neutral. And then we're going to bring the hands onto the lower belly. So thumbs are around about the belly button, fingertips are pointing down towards the pubic bone. So behind the hands there, that would be more of the sacral chakra. So the root chakra is the perineum, the tip of the tailbone. So as we draw the breath down into the lower belly and using the hands on the belly to help the breath come all the way down, imagine as you breathe in, drawing the breath even further down. So as you breathe in, the belly expands and the hands move, and as you breathe out, they sink back towards the belly button. Not huge forced breaths, just slightly longer, slightly slower breaths. So drawing the breath down into the belly. But then imagining a red light glowing at the tip of the tailbone, like right between the sitting bones, right at the root of your being. And as you breathe in, imagine that red light growing. And as you breathe out, imagine it shrinking again. So you're really breathing into the space of the pelvic floor. Because as the thoracic diaphragm moves down, there is an activation, a releasing of an opening of the pelvic floor as well. So tuning in, if you can, to that subtle connection of the breath with that part of the body. Keeping the shoulder blades relaxed, the shoulders, collarbones relaxed and down. Having the hands on the belly, not bringing tension into the shoulders or the jaw. Eyes are relaxed, face is relaxed, but we're sitting tall and straight. And however it works for you to bring awareness to the root chakra area. So maybe it's imagining a light there, or maybe you can feel the sensation or energy, or just like being there with the sensations of the body. But just drawing the focus there as we take a few more breaths into the root of us. And then relax the hands onto the legs. And we're going to take just a few, so each chakra has a bija, a seed sound. And the sound for the root chakra is lum, L-A-M, but it's more of a L-U-M sound, lum. We're just going to say lum 6 times. You don't have to do it particularly loudly, but do say it out loud if you can. And keep the focus on that root chakra area as we say our lungs. So making sure to take a nice big breath in before we begin. Long breath out. And then breathing in. Lum, 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 lum. Big breath in, long breath out. And just checking in with the effect of that practice, noticing what you notice. So that's some breathing and sound associated with the root chakra. We're going to come down to lie on our backs, so taking Shavasana or corpse pose. So obviously, root chakra being all about earth, we're going to spend quite a lot of practice today connecting with the earth. So just lying for a minute, getting as much as you into contact with the earth as you can. The length of the spine, the back of the head, the backs of the arms, the hands. Feel the earth beneath you, and I think that's one of the most beautiful transformations I've seen in yoga therapy. I had a client who had bipolar, and we worked together for quite a while, and she said the most profound change or shift that she felt was moving from quite a fast-paced yoga practice to just regularly coming to lie on the earth every day, just to ground herself, and finding that so medicinal, knowing that the earth is always here, like the breath. So taking a couple of breaths just to really connect yourself to the earth. And then drawing the knees in, cupping the hands over the knees and fingertips pointing down towards the toes. As you breathe out, draw the knees in towards you. As you breathe in, keep the hands on the knees but straighten the arms so the knees move away. Taking a few breaths, nice and slowly like that. Apanasana, Apana Vayu, being very much about the downward force, the root chakra area as well. So this practice being good, associated with root chakra. Letting go. Breathing in, lengthening, breathing out, pressing in. One more of those. Then bring the sole of the left foot to the floor and slide it away. Hug the right knee in and give it a rock left to right. Really draw it in as close as is comfortable. Circle the right foot around, the right ankle around one way. And then the other way. And then pressing the left leg, left heel down into the floor. Show the sole of the right foot to the ceiling. So you might hold behind the knee or round the lower leg. You might be able to reach the foot possibly. And then again, maybe it's in stillness or maybe it's a little rock from left to right, just as you draw that right knee towards the right armpit or towards the floor. You know, we're not drawing it in towards the chest, we're drawing it in beside us. So half happy baby. Big breath in, long breath out. Release that leg, swap over, slowly the right foot to the floor, slide it away, hug the left knee in, again. Drawing it in firmly, holding around the front of the shin or the knee, circling the ankle around one way. Circling it around the other way. And then either holding behind the knee, around the lower leg or around the foot as we show the sole of the foot to the ceiling, draw the knee in, gently but firmly. Shouldn't be painful, should be no pain in the back of that thigh. If there is, just back off a little bit. Just go to the edge of comfort. And then take a couple of long, slow breaths there as we encourage the right leg to press into the floor and the left knee towards the left armpit. And then bring both feet to the floor, feet hip distance apart, heels quite close to your bottom, so shins go straight down to the floor. And we're going to do a little bit of pelvic floor work before we begin to do some bridge work. So as you breathe out, press belly button to spine, draw the pelvic floor up. As you breathe in, let the pelvis rock away and the pelvic floor relax.
If you can differentiate, maybe starting at the back with the pelvic floor, zipping it up to the front. As you breathe in, relax and release. And then we're going to begin to bring in a little bit of a hip lift. So as we press the feet into the floor, we're going to tilt the pelvis towards us and curl it up and away. So just hovering a couple of inches up and then rolling back down again. So we're going to swap the breath around now. So as we breathe in, we're going to lift the hips. As we breathe out, we're going to curl back down again. Just slowly coming up a little bit further each time. So maybe we're coming up halfway now. The exhale, curl you back down again. The inhale, curl you back up. Maybe we're coming up 3/4 of the way, so beginning to press the hips up a little bit. Breathing out, curling down. Maybe 80 or 90%. And the exhale curls you down. Next time you curl up, pressing all the way gently to the top. Tuck the chin slightly, lengthen the back of the neck. Exhale, curl down again. Next time you lift up, we're going to pause at the top. So press the hips all the way to the top. You might walk the arms underneath you, the shoulder blades underneath you. If your hands reach each other, you might interlace the fingers. Press the hips up. So keep breathing while we're here. Tucking the chin, lifting chest towards chin. Again, grounding into the earth. So feeling the soles of the feet pressing into the earth, the backs of the arms, the back of the head, the back of the neck. Imagine as you breathe in, energy traveling up through the arms to the crown of the head. As you breathe out, energy traveling all the way down the front of the body and out through the feet and into the earth. Maybe 2 more slow breaths like that. Inhaling up the back of the body. Exhaling all the way down the front, back into the earth. The next inhale lifts your heels. Slide your arms out from underneath you, and then a long, slow exhale uncurls your back all the way slowly back down onto the floor. Uncurl your bottom and then hug your knees in and have a little rock from side to side. And then maybe crossing the ankles, maybe taking hold of the toes or the knees or behind the thighs and rock. If you like to rock, have a rock from crown to feet, then maybe take a few rocks like that if that feels nice. If you don't like it, then maybe you just find your feet slowly, and can you slowly come all the way up to standing. Now for grounding for the root chakra is a lot of standing poses. It's very much about lying, but it's very much about the feet. So connecting to the earth. So feeling the earth beneath you. Maybe heels are under hips. Lift and spread the toes. Plant them down. Maybe close the eyes if that feels all right for you. And do that circling of the weight around. One way. Feeling the feet pressing into the earth and the earth pressing back up. Circle the weight around the other way. And then coming back to center, pressing the feet down and the top of the head up. So Tantra in yoga is all about this idea of heaven above and earth beneath and us being beings between those two, the rooted in the earth. So feel the earth pressing up to meet you. Soften your knees slightly, interlace your fingers and press your palms up towards the ceiling, tipping over to the right. So feel long all the way from hip to heel of hand. Pause there for a breath. Slowly back up to center and over to the left. Pausing, lengthening.
Slowly back up to centre. And then bringing the arms down, we're going to come into chair pose. If I turn sideways so you can see. So you might have feet pressed together, or you might have heels under hips. Your tail's not lifted and it's not tucked down. The spine is neutral, but we're sitting in an imaginary chair and the arms are straight out in front of us. If that's a lot, if that feels like a lot through shoulders or upper back, you can make it lower. So finding the right position for your arms. Then as we breathe in, we're going to open left hand out to the left, maybe follow the thumbnail with the gaze as far as it will go comfortably. Breathing out, coming back palm to palm. If you don't want to work so hard, maybe stand up a little bit. Breathing in, right hand. Breathing out, palm to palm. If you want to work harder, you can always sit a little bit deeper. It's a lot. Can we do one more each side? Last one. Bring palms back together and then bring your palms to your heart, but stay in chair pose. Lengthen the spine. Last little challenge here. Can you come up onto your toes? Keep the chair pose. Can you sit a little bit deeper? Ooh, can we pause for a breath? Press down into your feet, slowly come up to stand, then float the heels down, shake out legs, shake out hands, shake it all out. And then let's do a little bit of hip warm up, and then we're going to do our Egyptian sun salutation. Ground into your right foot, maybe hands are on hips. We're going to open the gate, so take that left knee across the body up and out. Might start as a very small circle, touching down each time, and then gradually getting bigger. So thinking about the hip joint, moving it through all of its lovely range of motion. Think of that as like WD-40 for the joint. One more circle going around that way. Pause, change direction. Go back round the other way. Again, they might start smaller, and then can you do a couple, seeing how big you can make the circle with that knee without going into pain. One more. Ooh. Bring that foot to the floor, maybe give it a little shake, give the leg a shake, have a little shimmy, change sides, earth into the other foot. And we start by opening the gate, so across the body, and maybe touching down each time, or can you challenge yourself and not touch the foot to the floor each time, and then maybe the circles can get a little bit bigger, arms can do whatever they need to help you balance. Even touch a wall or a piece of furniture. How big can you make those circles? Ooh. Last one going that way. Pause, change direction, small to start with, feeling into the muscles doing the work. And then bigger, and bigger, and bigger. Can we do one more? Really big. There we go. Shaky, shaky. Shake out legs, shake out arms, shake it out. And then our Egyptian sun salutation. Don't do it quite often enough for me to remember the perfect sequence. But the elements, so each of the chakras relates to an element. Obviously, root chakra is earth, but the Egyptian sun salutation is all about the elements. So it's a great way to connect us, isn't it, with the physical world, the elements around us, the elements within us. So we start with heels just outside of hips and toes pointing slightly out, but being ready to adjust the angles and position of your feet. Soft knees, hands into prayer. We reach up and just spread the fingertips wide. We collect up love from the cosmos. And we bring it down for ourselves, and then we share it out to the world. So opening the hands out wide, gathering it up, and then soft knees, we're going to dive down and scoop up water. So folding forward, soft hands, scooping up water and lifting it up above our head. So reaching up, that's the salute to water. Palms come together above our head. Again, soften the knees a little bit. We salute to air. So we tip over one way. We salute to the west wind. Zephyr out to the centre, salute to the east wind, tip over the other way, salute to air. Back up to centre and then salute to fire, so lightly engage your tummy. Keep your chin slightly tucked, but maybe take your gaze to the ceiling A little back bend if that feels okay, fiery, salute to fire. Coming back up to center, and then we take pointy fingers, Charlie's Angel's Mudra, and we turn the toes to the left. And then we're going to salute the earth. So pointing fingertips down towards the earth, bending the knees, coming down as far as is comfortable for you. Fingertips might find the earth, they might not. Breathing in, we come all the way back up again. We swivel and face the other way. Breathing out, we come down as far as is comfortable. Breathing in, we come all the way up. That's salute to the earth. And then we take the hands wide and we dive down into the mud. So bring your fingertips to brush the floor, cross your wrists over and then sweep them through so that we find a flower bud. So fingertips are touching. As we press down into the earth, bring that flower bud all the way up to bloom above your head. Breathe in as you breathe out, gather up that love. Bring in love for yourself and send it out to the world. We're going to repeat that a couple more times. So diving down, we scoop up water, lift it up above our heads. Palms come together, we salute air, tipping over one way. Oh. Back up to center, tipping over the other way. Back up to center, salute to fire, lifting and opening the front of the body. And back up to center, and then diving, fingertips together. Turning the toes, let's turn them to the right, first time this time. And then we're going to point down towards the floor, folding down as far as we go, salute to the earth. Breathing in, we come back up and swivel around to the other side. Breathing out, fingertips down. Breathing in, coming up. Back to center, and then diving down into the mud, sweeping the hands wide. Cross the wrists at the bottom and then sweep them through to find that flower bud. Press down into your feet, let that flower bud bloom above your head. Gather up the love, bring it in for yourself, share it out with the world. Diving down, scooping up water, lifting it up. Palms together above your head, tipping over one way, back up to center, salute to air, over the other way. Soften the knees, engage the belly and salute to fire, little back bend. Back up to center, pointy fingers. Let's turn to the left, point towards the floor, coming down. Breathing in, coming up. We salute the earth. We salute the earth. Breathing in, coming up. Spreading the hands wide, we dive down into the mud, cross the wrists, sweep them through, find your flower bud. Press down into your feet, come all the way up, let the flower bloom. Gather up the love, bringing it in for yourself, sending it out to the world. And then bring hands either into prayer or one hand on your heart, the other hand on top of it. Step your feet back in and take a few moments to really connect to the earth, connect to yourself. Let the heart rate settle. Let the breath settle. Let the body soften. And we're going to find Malasana, or garland pose. So it's the squat, and everybody's foot position should be different because everybody's hips are different. But heels maybe just outside the hips, toes pointing out a bit. Maybe hands are on the thighs or just above the knees. Or maybe the elbows reach on top of the knees and we can sit back a little bit further. Or maybe the hips can come a little bit lower. So as you're lowering down, be ready to move the angles and position of the feet. And then if you're here, maybe the elbows can come to the insides of the knees. We can lengthen the spine, so send the sitting bone down and the crown of the head up. And just think about sending that tailbone down and away, the top of the head up. Maybe the elbows can press gently into the knees, so the knees are getting pressed out wider. If the heels are lifted and you're up on the balls of the toes, then maybe putting something underneath the heels. If it's not comfortable, then come out, maybe try coming back in, finding a higher version of it. If you're okay here, maybe settling for a moment and pausing for a few breaths. See if you can be present with that intersection between your feet and the earth, where the soles of your feet kiss the earth, where the earth holds you up. Coming out if you need to, but if you're okay there for another breath or two, breathing long. And then bringing one hand down onto the floor in front of you if it reaches comfortably, or onto your leg if not, and taking the other hand and reaching up and back, lengthening the spine again and gently turning, maybe following that top hand with your gaze, pausing for a big breath in, long breath out, big breath in again. On the exhale, float that hand down. On the inhale, take the other hand up. Lengthen the spine, gently twist. Ooh. Do you find when I haven't done yoga for a few days, I make a lot more sound effects when I'm doing it? Can we take another breath there? Big breath in. On the out breath, float that hand down. And then can we keep the hands or the fingertips on or near the floor? Bring the weight forward and slowly straighten the legs. Slowly press the hips up. Maybe heel toe the feet in a little bit. Bend the knees as much as you need to. But just taking a few breaths in forward fold. So bending the knees to bring your chest towards your thighs. Releasing head and neck. Maybe giving it a nod or a shake side to side. Maybe circling it around. Maybe tucking one hand inside each elbow. Just a couple more breaths there to use the breath to connect and release through the back of the body. And then slowly, slowly pressing into the feet and curling all the way up. Slowly coming up to stand. And then, of course, we're going to do tree pose. If we're talking about roots, it's a perfect symbol for rooted and the root chakra, isn't it? So grounding into the right foot, lift and spread the toes. Visualize, keeping the other foot or toes on the floor at the moment. Visualize roots. Like you imagine that leg like a tree trunk and roots going down from your foot and into the earth. Maybe hands come onto hips. Maybe turning the left knee out to the side. Maybe the heel just comes on top of the other foot or to the side of the ankle. Maybe the sole of the foot can come onto the side of the calf. But taking a moment to connect to your balance. So it might take a couple of goes of lifting and lowering. Or maybe we can bring the sole of the foot or the heel of the foot up towards the groins, pressing. If you flex that foot slightly, you can press it in a little bit more. So we've got left knee pressing out to the left, we've got right foot connecting to the earth, we've got crown of the head reaching for the sky. You can keep hands on hips, you can take them out wide. Maybe you want to bring hands up, maybe today we want to bring hands palm together above the head. So really rooting down into that foot. And then maybe fixing your gaze to a point on the floor a little bit in front of you. We've got left knee up and out to the left. We're going to tip over to the left. So keeping the right elbow back, leaning towards that knee that is bent out to the side. Can we hold for a breath? Ooh. Gently back up to center, separate the hands, bring them wide, float them down, release that leg, shake out that standing leg, shake out the hips, circle the shoulders, and set up to go again on the other side. So grounding into the left foot, hands on hips to begin with, turn the right knee out, find, and it might be different side to side, find where that foot is going to land, where it's going to stay. Maybe finding the arms as a balance, pressing, rooting, imagining those roots going down from the sole of the left foot, and then maybe picking a point to gaze out on the floor. If you feel rooted, maybe floating the palms together above your head. Reaching up, lengthening, and then tipping over to the right. You can see my palms are together, sort of prayer hands. Big breath in, long breath out. Feel the roots down into the earth. Ooh. Gently back up to center. Float the hands wide and down. Release that knee. Circles, shaking, flicking feet. Whatever you need to do to release off. And then we're going to come down onto the earth again. And we're going to do a little bit of foot massage. So let's take the left leg straight out in front. Take hold of the right foot and interlace your fingers in between your toes. So your little finger is inside your little toe and your thumb wraps around your big toe, and you press right through so that you're right up to holding fingers push as far through the gaps. And then you can hold around the lower leg, or you can rest the ankle across the other knee, and we're going to circle that foot around. Circling it gently and slowly around one way, and then slowly and gently around the other way. And then flexing the toes, so pressing the toes back towards the shin, and then drawing the foot away, so drawing the toes towards the heel, if that makes sense. And then a couple more times each way, pressing them back and then drawing them down. And some people have a real aversion to feet, and sometimes particularly their own feet. I invite you to be as accepting and grateful for your feet as you can be. They connect you to the earth. And one more time each way. And then releasing that foot, taking it back next to the other one, and giving them a little windscreen washer. In and out maybe rumbling the knees. And then bending the left leg, interlacing the fingers, getting as good a grip on the foot as you can, maybe holding around the lower leg or resting it over the opposite thigh, circling nice and slowly that ankle round one way. And around the other way. And then pressing the toes back, the foot back towards the shin. Gently but firmly, so you feel a nice stretch around the ball of the foot, the underneath of the toes. Bit of work through the wrist and the arm. And then pointing the toes and drawing the toes back towards the heel. Straightening, pointing the toes, stretching the top of the foot. And then gently back and forward between the two. Stretching and a couple more times each way, exploring the sensations of the joints. And then releasing, and then we're going to give that foot a bit of a massage, so maybe thumbs pressing around the ball of the foot, the pad of the foot along to the little toe and back again. Maybe grabbing hold of the big toe, giving it a pull and a twist side to side gently, and then the next toe, and then the middle toe, and the next toe, and the little toe. Maybe pinching between thumb and first finger, the webbing between the toes. Pinching and sort of sliding the fingers away as though you're trying to get fluff out from between your toes. And doing each one and then back again. And then massaging back to the ball of the foot, the arch of the foot with the thumbs, around the heel of the foot, the top of the foot, giving all of the foot a good squeeze. And then taking hold of the other foot and doing the same again. So starting with the ball of the foot, massaging the pad, sort of feeling into the muscly bit, the fleshy bit, or the knuckles of the toes. Taking hold of the big toe, giving it a gentle pull and a little twist side to side. And then the next toe, a little pull and twist. middle toe, next toe, little toe, and then pinching the webbing, pinching, pulling, ooh, each one, and back again, massaging out the bottoms of the toes, the pads of the foot, the arch of the foot. There's a lot of sensitivity there in the arch of the foot, isn't there? There is for me anyway. I think you can give that a bit of a massage with the thumbs round to the heel, and then giving all of the foot a squeeze between both hands, so left and right, and around to the ankle, giving it a good all massage, all increasing blood flow, and then straightening out both feet. Bring the hands to the floor behind you, bend your knees, bring your feet to the floor, and then we're going to tap the toes on the floor. And give them, if it feels okay, give them a bit of a whack, if you like. It shouldn't hurt, not too much. But just really, how loud can you be? Toes, balls and heels, give them all a good paddle on the floor, and then straightening out the legs, coming up to sit. Taking a moment to close the eyes or soften the gaze and just really feel into your feet. Feel into your legs. Feel into your sitting bones. Imagining the lower outline of your body where it comes down to rest on the earth and the earth comes up to meet it. Taking a moment there. Bring the soles of the feet together, take the knees out wide, adjust where the sitting bones are, sit up tall, maybe give your knees a little bit of a flap. I think some people teach to bring your heels right in towards you. I think I like a play with it, see where you want to have your feet in relation to your bum, and then sit up tall and straight and gently fold forwards over your legs. So sometimes I have to rearrange it a little bit, give a little massage or just have a little wriggle. Because there's a lot of ligaments and tendons around the hip joint and sometimes they don't arrange themselves perfectly over the bones. So I'll do that little fidget and then let go of expectations of where you're going to fold forward to and just soften. So maybe chin comes down to chest, hands are soft on the floor or on the legs. Relaxing the eyes. Softening the space behind your back teeth. Finding that really helpful at the moment. You get, unconscious tension gets in there, doesn't it? Relaxing there, relaxing shoulders, hanging heavy, not forcing, just letting gravity draw you down towards the earth. Again, feeling the sitting bones on the floor. Imagining roots coming down from the points where you touch the floor, anchoring you. One more breath there. And then slowly coming up to sit, getting your bits and bobs so that you can relax comfortably, check in with yourself again. So we've done a bit of work there. You might want to do a bit more release for lower back. So maybe it's hugging knees and taking them over to one side for a couple of breaths. Or maybe it's happy baby. Maybe it's your neck needs a gentle stretch. Whatever is going to prepare you to come into stillness. So maybe, that spinal twist is just medicine sometimes, isn't it? What medicine do you need? When you're ready, no hurry, when you're ready, setting yourself up. Maybe it's pillows or bolster under your knees, maybe it's an eye pillow over your eyes, maybe it's a blanket over the top. and knowing that this practice is available to you throughout the week. You can always just take 10 minutes, absolute medicine for the nervous system. That's what root chakra is all about, creating that safe space for the nervous system to relax. That's why it comes first in a healing model for the chakras. Because without that safe space, all the other work is wasted. The immune system cannot fire up without the space for relaxation and safety. So I think for most people, root chakra work is a big thing. And my model for the year, I'm developing a process throughout the year. And root chakra, so the whole of the autumn season, is dedicated to just one chakra. It's just about rooting. It's just about this chakra, preparing us for the rest of winter. So with that in mind, creating a space now for us to relax as much as possible, that safe space. So any last little adjustments of posture. And then our big grounding breath, breathing in through the nose. And the exhale all the way out through the mouth, really long and slow. As we sink into the earth, imagine becoming one with the earth beneath you on those long exhales. Maybe the last one has a little pause at the top of the in-breath. Maybe an audible sigh as we sink into the earth beneath us. Letting go, releasing. Calling to mind the intention that we set at the beginning of the session. Making it grounded, calming, soothing, safe. Letting that intention drift. And then today we're going to do our body scan in reverse, starting at the feet, but feeling it being all about that connection with the earth. So imagining maybe it's the heels or possibly the soles of the feet really connected to the earth and rooting us, grounding us in this space, this place where we are, connecting us to it. Imagining the feet really heavy. Imagining toes in warm, soft soil, maybe. And imagining that tired, grounded, safe feeling, gently spreading up the legs to the ankles, into the calves, so that the muscles on the lower legs give all of their weight to gravity or to the surface beneath them. And the thighs, the whole of the legs feeling really heavy and supported. The pelvis, this pelvis secretly trying to support its own weight. See if it can give all of its weight to the earth. So all the biggest muscles really relax and spread like a puddle into the earth, and then up to the bowl of the belly, softening the belly and the lower back, releasing any tension around the rib cage, letting the spine sink to the floor. Shoulders, again, they can squirrel away tension, can't they? See if they can truly soften and spread. Heavy on the earth. Awareness flowing down through the arms, shoulders to elbows to arms, wrists and hands. Whatever they're resting on, let them feel nestled, like they are becoming one with the surface beneath them. Up to the shoulders, the back of the neck. Give the weight of the head to the floor so that the neck and throat can truly relax. Awareness to the back of the head, the points of contact with the floor, and relaxing all the muscles around the back and the sides of the scalp, the very top of the head, the forehead, the brow. Smooth, the eyes, heavy, nose, cheeks and ears, all released. Lips and tongue. The mouth is spacious. Tongue resting maybe to the roof of the mouth. Jaw, space behind the back teeth. Soft. Whole face and head relaxed. Throat relaxed. Awareness to the heart center and the chest, relaxed. Awareness back to the root of your being, the tip of the tailbone. Soft, natural breath, allowing a red light to glow. The in-breath, a soft in-breath, allows that light to grow brighter. Each out-breath releases all of the body more to the floor. Make the next breath just a little bit bigger. Before you need to move, let me read some words. Stand still. The trees ahead and bushes beside you are not lost. Wherever you are is called here, and you must treat it as a powerful stranger, must ask permission to know it and be known. The forest breathes. Listen. It answers, I have made this place around you. If you leave it, you may come back again, saying, here. No two trees are the same to raven, no two branches are the same to wren. If what a tree or bush does is lost on you, you are surely lost. Stand still. The forest knows where you are. You must let it find you. That is Lost by David Wagoner. Now, deepening breath again helps you to find yourself back here in this place, on this earth. Maybe wiggly fingers and toes, maybe arms overhead for a great big stretch. Maybe it's hugging knees or rocking side to side, or just resting on one side as you gather yourself back to yourself. Pausing for a little smile and a moment of gratitude that you made time to practice today. Gratitude for the magic of Zoom and the internet that brings us together. Gratitude for the magic of yoga itself. And then when you're ready, coming up to sit. And then we'll take one last breath together as we breathe in. Sweep your hands up, palms come together. As you breathe out, bring your thumbs to your heart. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you and the pure light within you guide you on. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. I hope you found that helpful. If you're watching the recording and have any questions or feedback, please don't hesitate to message me.